Everyone, it's Matt Deeks here. Appreciate you guys for stopping by. Today we're taking a closer look at the heroic wrapped bolt sniper rifle for the sniper class in Space Marine 2. And this weapon is not for the faint of aim, okay? It's not for everyone. On paper, its raw damage is slightly toned down, but don't let that fool you. The heroic perk changes the way this rifle plays entirely, rewarding precision in a way no other sniper does. If you can consistently land headshots, this thing turns into a relentless execution tool, fast, efficient, and brutally satisfying. That said, this rifle has a very clear audience. It's built for marksmen, and if you're still getting comfortable with the sniper class or struggling to chain headshots, you may find more success sticking with one of the relic variants instead. Okay, guys, with that being said, honestly, guys, what makes this weapon special and who should actually be using it? Honestly, I will be covering all of that in this video. We're going to be going over the best class perks to run with this new heroic weapon and the best weapon perks to be running with the heroic variant. All right, guys, with that being said, if this is something you're interested in, sit back, enjoy, subscribe to the channel if you love Space Marine 2, and guys, let's get started. Alright guys, so I'm rocking my Imperial Fist armor here instead of my usual Blood Ravens, but I want to go over everything here, and I want to first talk about the actual heroic wrapped bolt sniper rifle. So let's go over the perk that comes with this heroic variant. This is how it looks. Again, if you have not unlocked the heroic version, you're going to have to do that in order to make this build possible. So with that being said, let's pop into the perk tree. Before we get into everything here, I do want to just quickly go over the actual heroic perk that comes with the new heroic variant, and it is called replenishing hits. So after performing a headshot, one round is automatically reloaded into the weapon. So as you can see, it's very rewarding for people or players that can hit those shots. If you are new to the sniper class, new to the game, or just find yourself not able to hit those headshots, then maybe this weapon is not for you. I'll be honest with you guys. It's very rewarding for those players that can hit the shots, and it's very, it's not very rewarding for those of us, I'm going to include myself too, that can't really get those headshots time after time. Because look at this, guys. Compare this to one of the relic versions. Sorry, let me go to the versions. So compare the firepower, compare the rate of fire, the reload speed, all of that. Compare it to, let's say, the Alpha, Fulfill Liberation Alpha. Look at that firepower. It pops from a 6 to a 14. Look at this. Goes from a 6 to a 13, and then if you're going to choose the Fulfill Liberation Beta, it goes from 6 to a 13, and it also increases the rate of fire. So again, you are losing quite a bit going for this heroic version, but again, what you're getting instead is that replenishment of ammo for every headshot. Decision that this new heroic wrapped bolt sniper rifle is going to be the bolt sniper rifle of your choice, or if you just want to play around with it and see how it plays in the game, then this is the perk tree I recommend. So let's start off with standard. So the first standard perk is remote threat. So enemies at a distance of more than 25 meters take 20% more damage. And then for our mastercrafted perks, we have survival instinct. So when your health is below 30%, you deal 25% more damage. And then we have two right here. We have adamantine grip. So recoil is reduced by 25%. It's going to really help to hit those headshots and to get your armor replenished. All right. Then we have finisher reload. So after a finisher, the equipped weapon instantly reloads. And then for artificer, we have fast reload. So this weapon reloads 10% faster. And then we have increased capacity. So the maximum ammo reserve for this weapon increases by 20%. And then we have a headhunter, so headshots deal 10% more damage. And then for our relic tier perks, guys, we have strong finish. So last round in magazine deals 50% more damage. Now the other option could be strong start. So first round in magazine deals 25% more damage. But honestly, guys, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I'd rather get 50% on the last round than 25% on the first round. Just keep in mind that you have to fully exhaust your magazine in order to get to that last round. So if you're like me, where I like to reload before I get to that last round, you're not going to benefit from this. So if you are that type of person, or you're just going to forget, then go for this top one, strong start. All right. But if you are good with, fully depleting your magazine, then definitely go for that 50%. All right. And then we have reloaded restoration. So after reloading, your ammo reserve is restored by 50% of the number of enemies hit, cannot exceed maximum ammo capacity. And then we have Great Might. So damage increases by 10% against Terminus level enemies. And then for the heroic guys, like I said, replenishing hit. So after performing a headshot, one round is automatically reloaded into the weapon. Now I have to say here, guys, read this one again. After performing a headshot, it's not a headshot kill, it's just a headshot. So after every single headshot, one round is automatically reloaded. Again, you don't have to kill the enemy, you just simply have to hit that headshot. Before I jump into the actual sniper class perk tree, the secondary and obviously our melee weapon, our only choice is the combat knife. I do like to use the fencing variant, but in terms of the secondary weapon, I like to use the infernal pistol. I know that sounds crazy and heretical, but the thing with the sniper class is the cleaving potential and the ability to take out multiple enemies at once with your combat knife is very, very slim, and it's hard to do. So something like the infernal pistol, as opposed to a heavy bolt or a standard bolt pistol, when you're using that infernal pistol, the spread is large. It's almost like a melter rifle or a multi-melter. You're able to hit multiple. It's really good for minorists, right? You're gonna be really taking out those minorists with one shot. So you're able to do the shoot, dodge, get out of the way, play very mobile, and hit multiple enemies at once. If you're going to be using the heavy bolt pistol or the heroic or whatever standard bolt pistol you're using, you really can only hit one enemy at a go, and you can get overwhelmed quite easily. All right, especially with the combat knife. Again, it's not like a chainsword. The cleaving potential and the ability to take out multiple enemies with one swing is very minimal with the combat knife. So this is why I like to run, at least with my sniper class, the infernal pistol. All right, give it a try if you haven't tried it yet. And in terms of which variant I like to choose, I like to choose this one here, simply because this one has a magazine capacity of only 2 shots, and this one has one of 3. All right, and you're also able to add a perk. I believe it's this one here, extra shot. Yep, magazine size increases by an additional cartridge. So instead of having 3, you actually have 4 shots. And I know that sounds ridiculously low, but trust me, it's just enough to get the sniper out of a shitstorm and into a perched area to get right back to your bolt sniper and pop off those headshots. All right, so let's hop into the sniper class's perk tree, and let's start off with the first core perk. So we have block break. So shots will penetrate enemy block stances, dealing 50% of the usual damage. So this is going to be good against like biovores, the Majoris level enemies that like to run at you while blocking, so on and so forth. So this is going to be really good to get at least 50% usual damage on them. And then we have Vantage Point. So remaining stationary for 2 seconds increases your ranged weapons damage by 20%. Now 20% is not nothing, and remaining stationary for only 2 seconds, that's not a long time. So the way Sniper really should be played is you get nice and high, nice and perched, far away from the battle, and you just pop those shots off, and you really don't need to move. So obviously, you might need to move once in a while if a shot is being shot at you, but remaining stationary for 2 seconds and getting 20% of a damage increase, you take that every day of the week, guys. And then as for the last core perk, the only one you really can utilize with the bolt sniper rifle is Iron Grip. So weapon spread and recoil are reduced by 20%. So that's going to be great to hit your headshots. And then range damage against Terminus level enemies is increased by 15% for bolt sniper rifles and stalker bolt rifles. All right, guys. So this one is the only one specifically designed for the bolt sniper. This one is for bolt carbine, so this will not affect us. So it's a waste perk. And then lethal efficiency, it's for the last fusel. Again, it will not benefit us with the bolt sniper rifle. Then for our team perk, guys, I like to use precision targeting. So weapon spread is reduced by 25%, and range damage against extremists and terminus level enemies is increased by 15%. 15% for all squad members. So this one's going to be massive. Your headshot damage, guys, is going to be insane. All right, you can choose marksmanship. Headshot damage increases by 10% for all squad members, but why not get 15%? You know, again, it is only for extremists and terminus, but those are really the only hard enemies, you know, in the game, right? So getting 50% instead of 10, and this is only for headshots, whereas this is for all over the body. All right, guys, let's move forward to our gear perk. So our first gear perk, and honestly one of the best perks in the game, is Purification. So manually activating Camo Cloak removes negative status effects and restores all contested health. So to give you an example of how this works, let's say you were not able to block a enemy hit, and you see that scary white bar, all your contested health is about to fade. No worries, you got your Camo Cloak, just activate it quickly. Boom, that whole white bar is now filled to red again, and you're good to go. Get out of the way, get to safety, deactivate the Camo Cloak unless you need to keep it on, and then you're good to go. All right, so Purification, really, really good, almost like a free med kit. And then we have Targeted Shot. So first ranged attack that breaks Camo Cloak deals 75% more damage. And then we have Persistence. So when Camo Cloak deactivates, you take 20% less health damage, do not lose control upon taking heavy hits, and cannot be knocked back for 10 seconds. And then for a signature perk, honestly, a really, really good perk is Emergency Override. So when you receive lethal damage, Camo Cloak automatically activates without spending charge, and you become invulnerable for 5 seconds. The cooldown is quite a while, but it is very similar to Vanguard's Emperor's Blessing, where you kind of get a second chance at life. So instead of going down for the Vanguard, you would kind of just get 2 armor plates back. But for this, your Camo Cloak automatically activates and gives you a second chance at life. So honestly, Emergency Override is so good. It's a very good perk. So honestly, I would add Emergency Override for your last signature perk. And then for your prestige perks, let's go over this quickly, guys. We have Versatile Precision. Performing a kill with your secondary weapon restores 15% of your primary weapon's ammo, and the cooldown is 15 seconds. So this is where your Inferno Pistol is really going to come and shine. So performing a kill with your secondary weapon. There's no prerequisite on it being a Majoris level or higher kill. It can be those little Minoris. So you pop out your Inferno Pistol, you get a few Minoris kills, boom. You basically can never run out of ammo. Pair that with your heroic perk, you're never going to run out of ammo, especially if you can hit those headshots. Second prestige perk, we have Exacting Focus. So after a gun strike, you deal 20% more range damage for 10 seconds. Again, as you can see, there's no cooldown time. So if you can get a gun strike after gun strike, you can really, really increase your range damage for majority of the mission. If you can, yes, you're going to be far back, but once in a while you're going to get nitty gritty, and you're going to get, in the fight with either your combat knife or your Inferno Pistol. There's no avoiding that, okay? So Exacting Focus, this is really going to come in handy to boost your range damage. And again, this works both for your primary and your secondary, which is the Inferno Pistol, if you're going with this loadout. And then for our third prestige perk, we have Indomitable Spirit. While performing a gun strike, said gun strike with Exacting Focus, you do not lose control upon taking heavy hits, and you cannot be knocked back. There's nothing worse than being locked in a execution animation or a gun strike animation. Sorry, not an execution. You actually are invulnerable in execution, but sorry, I meant to say gun strike animation, and you're locked in that animation and you get whacked from the side and you get knocked back. So this will prevent that. So really, really good perk to have on. Then we have Versatility. After switching weapons, your secondary weapon deals 20% more damage, and the effect lasts until reloading or switching back to your primary weapon. So this is really going to make, guys, your Inferno Pistol an absolute beast, all right? Trust me, give it a try. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of Inferno Pistol, but on a sniper, it's actually really, really good. That's it, guys. That's the heroic wrapped bolt sniper rifle for the sniper class in Space Marine 2. It's a very specific weapon that clearly rewards precision and playstyle rather than just raw damage. Whether or not it's right for you really comes down to how comfortable you are with landing consistent headshots. If you found this breakdown helpful, consider leaving a like and subscribing for more Space Marine 2 weapon guides, builds, gameplay, breakdowns, live streams, and tips. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.